And we're live.
All right. Okay, so we're back in Ravengro. It is still Toil Day, the 17th of Lamachan, the year 4711. Last time you had dared to venture out to the ruin of Harrowstone prison just outside of town, which was a trip that was as as insightful as it was dangerous, it turned out, because some suspicions about Lorimore's death you were able to half confirm, but you did not manage to go any further because the rumors of the prison being haunted turned out to be very, very painfully true, as you've encountered a disembodied scythe that almost took you out before you were able to banish it. You decided to retreat back to Ravengro. Maybe pretty much everyone in town was right when they told you that Harrowstone is a dangerous place. And instead, you turned your attention to the funeral of the councilman Geier Murica, where most of the townspeople had gathered to mourn his passing after this strange uprising of the undead that had happened just a day before, just the last day. At that funeral, you had learned by Councilwoman Myrta Straylock that the death of Geier Murica was even stranger than just being strangled by a skeleton or mauled to death by a zombie. And she charged you to investigate, which you were happy to comply with. And when you explored his mansion, you learned a great deal, both about how he died, but also about parts of his life that he had locked away from the eyes of the entire town for decades, possibly. And I guess that's where we're gonna join our characters while you're still standing around an open wooden box containing weirdly deformed bones of a newborn in the basement of the Honorable Councilman Murica. That's where we are.
Well, this was a bit of unpleasant business, if I may say so.
We should probably leave this place and report our findings.
Yes. Unpleasant is the light word to take, I would say.
Don't think the townspeople are gonna appreciate the news.
Well,
We might be wiser if we keep it a bit on the download, at least for now.
Discreet, at least for. Well, at least the councilwoman should know what we discovered, and Arronax very solemnly points at the box. We probably should do something about this. Geier, do you know any rites or rituals for the occasion?
Maybe a little bit. Usually I just dig the graves, clean the latrines.
Well,
But
there is a grave, there is a box.
But this is something I can do. Although I would want to give this poor unfortunate creature the last rites and do it properly. I would like to talk to Father Grimbarrow.
Very well then.
And maybe maybe it should not be reburied before someone else has the chance to see it, so that it's not just our word.
I mean, I think the father is quite trustworthy. We can probably talk to him. I mean, he's a disciple of Pharasma.
Maybe then we take this with us?
Perhaps, yeah, and perhaps he knows what best course of action we can take.
Yeah. And
If you want, I can make my way down here. It's just down the street. I'll bring him over.
Well,
Yeah, I guess.
sure, why not? I don't think the remains will go anywhere.
Or maybe we should let the councilwoman know before. Maybe she would rather not involve the Father Grimburrow in this.
Well, you have to involve Father Grimber. What? And she's gonna be, well, not the most objective.
Well, I agree with that. We will have to involve Father Greenbarrow sooner or later in this.
And what if the councilwoman was involved somehow?
At least in order to prevent further Arronax like shivers barely visibly, like unpleasantness from in this house.
One way or another, we have a tiny corpse to bury, and there's no way to go around it without the blessing of Pharasma. And for that blessing, we need Father Grimbarrow. So I'll be on my way. You try not to wake any more ectoplasmic fiends or demons or spirits that may be lying. I wouldn't want to have to save you again. And with that, Geier doesn't wait and just hurries off.
Okay. Do you use your, or do you bring the box, or?
No, I think
No, I think we leave
stay
it. Yeah.
with the box while Geier goes to fetch Father Greenbarrow.
All right. So you head out to the temple. It's pretty late that night already, because it's if you remember, the wake had already begun after the funeral. Father Grimbarrow had excused himself pretty early after he led the ceremony, and had actually retreated for the night. So one of the acolytes just informs you that the father will be able to receive you the next morning, if it's not a very pressing matter.
Geier has a moment of uncertainty because, it is pressing, but, he well knows that those are dead are, not in a hurry. But this
So
can't
you
wait.
head back?
No, this can't wait. I will talk to Father Grimbarrow, Acolyte. I appreciate your concern, but I think this is something he would like to hear about. Yeah? So, go fetch your priest, if you would be so kind.
Okay.
Or at least
So he's-
lead me to him.
He's fairly reluctant at first, but you do have some clout with the temple crew by now. So he'll kind of hesitantly lead you down a simple hallway, and then asks you to wait as he knocks on the door. And then after what feels like an eternity, Father Grimbarrow's voice rises as he goes, yes? And then the acolyte says, Father Grimbarrow, I'm terribly sorry. I know you said you didn't want to be disturbed, but there's Geier is out here, and he says it's really urgent. And then Father Grimbarrow says, just mumbles a little bit, and then finally opens the door, wrapped in a simple woolen cloak, and he's obviously sleepy. And he said, "No, Geier, it is very late. I had a very stressful couple of days. I hope this is important."
It is, Father, and I regret to inform you that this will not improve your mood, but there have been complications with what was left over of Councilman Morikar. It seems that
we've buried his remains.
yes, but we haven't buried all of it. We found in his manor remains of a child.
The acolyte gasps. He says, "But the councilman never had any children. You must be mistaken."
Well, Father,
maybe it was just
situation does not change. We are at his place, and we have found this not before we were confronted by ectoplasmic specters that were not too happy. I would normally not disturb a clergyman like you in the matter of a corpse, but seeing as these are unusual circumstances, and even if there weren't, perhaps this calls for a more discreet approach. This poor, unfortunate child must be buried, and perhaps it is best if I go ahead and do it while there is no one watching.
And the Father Grimborough is very much overwhelmed with all the information you're giving him. He says, "Geier, excuse me, but this is all a little too much for me to take in all at the same time. So you're saying that our beloved Garen had the remains of a child buried in his mansion, and now you want to dispose of them?"
Well, I mean, it would be a complete lack of respect, would it not, to just leave the poor remains of this innocent child just on the open. Pharasma's blessing must accompany the child into the afterlife.
Give me a diplomacy check.
All right. Oh, -1. Awesome.
Grimborough sighs and he says, "Well, this is you still seem confused, and I definitely am. Like I said, I had very stressful days, and I'm sure that this can wait until tomorrow. Just find a place for the remains to be reposed until the morning, and then we will take care of it."
May I bring them here to the temple?
Yes, boy. You go with Geier. You know what to do with them. All right. So
I
will see you
apologize
in
for the
morning.
intrusion, Father.
And before you can finish your sentence, he has already closed his chamber door.
That went better than expected.
So you rush back with a sort of upset acolyte that on his way over to the manor asks you questions like, "But I don't understand. I mean, do you think that the councilman..."
What's your name, boy?
Too late. His name is now Boy.
Before he can answer, I go like, never mind. How long have you been an acolyte here?
I'm in my second year now, he says, slightly
And are
proud.
you from here?
No, in fact.
Well, I don't know how much you've learned about this place, but I'm willing to bet that it's not just the councilman who has skeletons buried in the closet. So I would not be so eager to rush to conclusions. Just keep your mouth shut, help with the rites, and let's get this unpleasant business done with.
Yeah, he still is very upset and confused, but he is, of course, dutiful and follows you over to the mansion. And I assume you hand over the box with the remains.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully
And he
nothing
takes it
horrible
back to-
happened while we stood guard.
Right. And Yeah, so you hand over the remains and he rushes back to the temple.
Is there a cemetery in the temple, or is all the whole cemetery in the Restlands?
No, that's the Restlands.
Okay.
Well then, with this settled, let's leave this accursed place.
Before talking to the councilwoman, perhaps we should talk to some sort of authority figure.
Well, she is an authority figure.
Yeah, but she's not precisely an unbiased authority figure, is she?
Well,
Who do you have in mind?
I don't know, but I mean, I have reason to imagine that she could be implicated in the demise of this poor child.
well, I mean, we could
What?
try to raise the sheriff, but who is to tell that he is not went to sleep as well? And I don't think he will be as friendly to us as Father Grimbarrow.
It's his job, isn't it? What? Does crime stop when the lights go out? Either way, I very much doubt Councilwoman Marcia had no idea of what was going on in her own household. If not implicit, then she's involved or complicit.
Well, it's not her own household. Her household is somewhere here.
Oh, but
Actually, here. Yeah.
Oh, right. Straylock. Sorry.
or what do you suggest, Doctor?
Well, first of all, let's get out of here. The darkness falls, and who knows what surprises this house still holds for us. Second of all, well, we could try to go to sheriff, but what do we tell him? A long time ago, the councilman buried some skeletons in his closet.
I mean, murder is still murder.
But-
An unreported death is suspicious.
Well, admittedly, what we know about this place, we know only from apparitions of angry spirits, who are also not exactly unbiased source.
Yeah, but with good reason to be restless. I mean, if they're restless, they must have a reason.
Well, at best we can report some events of unholy witchery that happened how many years ago here?
You know what? It's late.
It is.
Let's just go back to Laura Moore's and yeah, whatever crimes were committed were years, if not decades ago. Whoever's responsible, it won't change from now to the morning.
Hopefully.
Whatever we can do, perhaps the priest was right, and we can do it in the morrow.
I think we can agree on this.
So we head
Okay.
out back to Lorimore Place, I suppose.
All right.
Apparently, the people of Ravengrove don't like to be awoken at 2 a.m.
Yeah, and being handled boxes of dead children.
especially the octogenarians of Ravenloft family. Yeah, all right. So you make your way back to Lorimore Place, where it seems like Crow has also returned. At least, though you hear some sounds coming from his room. Maybe snoring. Is that snoring?
I
Anthony?
knock.
Yeah, come in.
I just peek my head. Huh. You're back. Look who came back from the dead.
I was not dead. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
think.
a figure of speech. Anyway, will you be here in the morrow?
I think so. Not entirely sure where I went today, to be honest.
Oh, someone went on a bender? Fine. It's been a long day and many unpleasant things have transpired, so I'll catch you up in the morning if you're still around. And Geier doesn't say goodbye, just shuts the door and goes to his own bed.
Simon, I'm trying to remember the Harrow cards that we drew. Is that something that we did in character? Did we receive Harrow
No.
cards?
No.
No.
Okay. Crow just reflects internally then on the feeling of being lost.
Geier will go to bed.
Yeah.
Alright.
Dr. Arronax, also drained from the experiences, will basically without a word just go up the stairs and lock himself up.
Okay. How about Emaírel?
Well, I guess with everyone asleep, let me see. There was some equipment to be identified, I think. Did we attempt to do that? Is it a once per day thing, identifying items, or is that one try ever?
It's a one per day.
I can't remember if we tried that today or the previous day.
Which item are you talking about?
The arrows.
I'm pretty sure you tried that last session, and that was all one day.
Okay then.
Oh no,
Well,
actually, you did your identification session before the last day, so you should be able to do it again now.
okay then. So, spellcraft or arcana knowledge? Arcana first.
First Arcana, yep. Okay, you can roll the spellcraft already while I figure out what those actually were.
I think that we had figured out the first one was just a +1, and there's 2 more
And then
sets.
there were a couple more, exactly. So the first one was a set of 10 + 1 arrows, and then we had a set of 5 and a set of 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so the set of 5, you identify the aura, but you're not exactly sure what they do. But you identify the aura as moderate conjuration. And moderate, just to stress that, is already pretty powerful. With the second one, you don't know at all what this may be.
Okay, and with that done, he will just turn in for the day.
All right. Okay, so you all turn in for the day. And you wake up the next morning and have your, by now, almost routine communal breakfast, where Kendra joins you and chit-chats a little bit, and she says, "So, how did you like the funeral of the councilman? I felt like it was a little more lively than my late father's. I wonder if he would have enjoyed a bigger crowd."
Oh, politicians, they always enjoy a bigger crowd. Some funerals, they treat them more like parties, social gatherings, the who's who of town.
Right, but I was talking about my father. I wonder if I made the right call in not turning it into a large event like the councilman's.
I don't know. I think actually you were correct, considering how people reacted to the news about his interment in the Westlands. Well, more people could have caused more disturbances.
You're right. But I always told my father that I think that he is not entirely innocent of this sort of reaction by the common folk, because his tendency to be so secretive and isolating himself from what he perceived to be simple minds, that just led to to people getting the wrong idea about him.
People are afraid of what they don't know. And
Precisely.
your father did have a need for secrecy. Or if not secrecy, at least discretion.
He had no habit of explaining himself, that is for sure.
Exactly, and sometimes I don't know if he didn't explain himself because he actually enjoyed this sort of air of mysticism about him, or if he had other reasons.
Such as?
I don't know. Maybe he thought that we just wouldn't understand even if he told us. Maybe he thought that the crazy ideas that townspeople have would still be better than what was actually true. I don't know. I just miss him.
I'm sure we all are.
He was a good man, your father.
He truly was. Anyway.
Oh, yes, very much so.
She finishes her meal and says, "Anyway, it's always nice talking to you, and I believe I'm sure you have some business to attend to in town."
Wait, before
Hmm?
we leave. Did you know if perhaps the Councilman Muricar had any secrets of his own, or reasons to suspect he was hiding something? Perhaps
Councilman
he took a
secret?
fancy to
Maybe some
certain
relationship.
kind of girls.
Yeah, maybe some relationship he wasn't keen on making public.
Certain kind of girls. Well, from what I've heard, we haven't been here that long, but from what I've heard, in his prime, he was quite a bit of a rake, and I think he had many types of girls, to put it politely.
Mhm.
But I don't feel comfortable discussing the councilman's habits, especially now that he's
Yes,
passed.
Understandably so. Sorry.
I
to-
could-
I know it's.
Yeah. I could only peddle in rumors, so I'm sorry if I cannot help you there.
It's Malitantum, rumor monger about the people. I understand. We are sorry for asking you.
Oh, don't be. Just feel free to ask me anything. It's just that sometimes I just cannot help you.
Very well.
Anyway,
Well,
gentlemen,
yeah.
I hope you all have a good day. And
Thanks.
with
Yes.
that, she takes her leave.
And Arronax at this point puts his plate aside and takes a sigh. Well, gentlemen, the dawn of a new day is now. So what should we do about this councilman business? Should we visit Councilwoman Sterlock or go to Father Greenbarrow first?
What councilman business is this?
Oh, right.
Oh,
In short, Councilman had skeletons.
fill your
his-
cup of,
yeah.
fill your mug of coffee. If this doesn't wake you up, then
Yeah, in short, he had skeletons in his closet, and in this case, very much literal ones. Yes, last evening, Councilwoman Sterlock asked us to investigate the house of late councilman, and we found that it is teeming with so-called spiritual activity that tried to murder us repeatedly in rather gruesome ways, while showing us some very unseemly scenes from the past, I so assume. And these scenes were not kind to Councilman Merker.
And Crow's been like very quiet and surly all morning. He's just kind of been sitting there sipping his coffee, not even really eating much of anything. But as he listens to your story about this, he kind of perks up a little bit and he says, "Well, it seems like Harrowstone is not the only place that is so haunted in this town."
I'm willing to bet more than half the people here will have such, perhaps not murderous dark secret, but something to hide.
So what is the plan then?
Well, I would say we start with the councilwoman. She's on the way.
And, well, she did ask us to do that in the first place. Well,
True.
might as well try that. Should we tell her that we left the remains with Father Greenbarrow?
I think it prudent.
Well, if she asks, I suppose.
All right, so
Very
you
well.
head over to her place.
Yes.
Okay.
Although before that, I think Arronax will, well, take an hour to prepare his mutagen
Okay.
and extract.
Crow will actually go up to Miss Laura Moore, and he'll approach her in private.
All right. You want to take this to the room next door?
Oh, sure, I guess so. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but
Well, then let's keep it here if it doesn't matter.
okay. He
The-
knocks on the door of his study or wherever she is.
Well, she's still in his study. She's still in the process of organizing his extensive notes and library. It takes her a very long time because she always stops in the middle of things, thumbing through an old journal or something like that, and reading his notes. And you find her there at the desk once again, going over some very old research paper of his back from his postgraduate time. And as you politely make your presence known, she kind of jolts up, surprised a little bit, and says, I'm sorry. I was well, Mr. Crow. How can I help you?
Good morning. I apologize if I was a little bit out of sorts earlier, but at breakfast. But well, this is the what is it? Is this the fourth day that we've been here?
It's possible. Let's see. You arrived on Friday the 13th, and it is now the 18th. So that's the 6th day.
Oh, the sixth. Fifth. Well, okay.
5 days have passed. It's the 6th day.
It's been almost a week that we've been here, and of course we are here. Well, I am here to repay a debt owed to your father. But under normal circumstances, I would be on the road now, escorting a caravan somewhere. I would be earning my wage. Now, I know that we have been willed 100 platinum pieces after a month, but you see these past few days here have been a little more trying on my wares than I was initially anticipating, so I was wondering if I might be
Mr.
able
Crow,
to...
are you asking
Yes.
me for money?
I'm asking you for a small advance on the amount that was willed over to me by your father.
You are aware that it is not me who safe keeps that money until the terms in the will are fulfilled. It's not like I have just extra cash lying around in this place.
I do
how
understand
much,
this.
How much are we talking about here?
Well, you see, in order to operate my weapon of choice, I must create cartridges, and they are not cheap. They are running me approximately 6 gold pieces each to craft with my own 2 hands. And I have run through nearly all of them, mostly saving this town. In fact, entirely saving this town.
I see. Well, of course, your selfless sacrifice for this town shall be repaid in some way. I can offer you 20 gold pieces from my own coffers if you will accept that, and I may try to get that money back from the council, since, as you say, you've actually spent it defending the town.
As I said, I will gladly repay you from the amount willed to us. I have no intention of taking your money. I am simply trying to remain effective while we are here
I see,
fending
yes,
off various undead threats that
of course,
seem to keep popping up.
With all the strangeness that is going around these days, I'm sure that's a very wise course of action. And yes, I will make sure that you'll have it by midday.
Thank you very much. I regret the unpleasantness, but I'm wondering if I can ask another question about this house, maybe.
She raises an eyebrow. What about it?
You say that you've only lived here with your father for a few years. Do you know anything of the history of the place before that?
Well, a few years is a relative term. So I think it's been nearly 15 now.
Yes.
I know very little about this place. I only know that my father bought it quite cheaply, and has fixed it up in some places, but I think it's fairly obvious that it just keeps falling apart whenever you have repaired one part of the mansion. Another one starts to creak and wither.
And do you perhaps happen to know if there were any other tenants who stayed in the room where I am sleeping?
Well, sometimes we would have visitors to my father, colleagues, and from Lippstadt, or associates from even further away. But no one in particular stayed there for any longer period of time.
And I don't suppose any of your guests have ever been prone to sleepwalking?
Sleepwalking? Not that I would know of, but I mean, what people do in their bedchamber and during the night is not of my concern.
Right, of course. I again
Have you been having
appreciate...
trouble, Mr. Crow? She has a very piercing stare.
Not to speak of at this time.
I see. Well, if anything changes in that regard, you know where to find him.
Of course, and thank you again for your generosity.
Of course, you're more than welcome here. Will
And
that be
he'll leave
all?
her. Yes. He'll bow his way out.
All right. to join the others on their way who are already heading out to the Straylock residence.
Actually, Emaírel is going to approach Dr. Arronax, and do you still have those books on you?
Books that we found in the study of Professor? Or, no, the books that we found in the crypt.
No, the ones that were in his chest.
I think we actually left them in his chest. I only picked up one of them to study, right? In either case, I don't have them on me. I've left them in my chambers in the mansion.
If you don't mind, I would like to take the one that was locked.
Right. Speaking of which, that's why we looked for those precision tools, right? To try and unlock it, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, for that matter, we might. Well, before we leave, we might as well go and try again. Manual of the Order of Palatine Eye, right?
That's good.
So you try to unlock it.
Yes, let's try to unlock it since
Taking 20?
the occasion came. Well, why not?
Okay, let me see. Where does it get you with a taking?
My disabled device is 6, so it gives me 26.
You try your hardest, but it's just such a well-made lock. It's
Damn.
impossible for you to pick it. You could just probably rip it off the cover, but
That's uncivilized.
Yeah.
Well, if you have better luck, then sure, you try your best.
Actually, I'm not trying to open it. As you may have noticed, I do have some sort of spellcasting power, and it is not the traditional wizardy kind. My magic comes from objects of significance, and I feel that this book, having belonged to the late professor, would be a perfect conduit for my powers.
Huh. Well, I mean, I won't pretend to be a specialist in actual spellcasting, but I'll take your word for it. Sure, go ahead.
And if no one else objects, I will be back in that.
You do you.
all right. So you
Yeah, and now we go to console 1.
okay? Let me just take a note. So you head south across the little creek and past or just before the posting pole, and knock on Councilwoman Straylock's door. It doesn't take too long for her to answer, and when she does, she eagerly says, "Oh, yes, please come in. I'm very glad to see you. I was hoping to get news sometime later last night. I was almost worried that something had happened to you too. Well, come on in and tell me everything."
Well, something did
what did you
happen
find
to
out?
us.
Well, not on the doorstep. Please, come on inside. And she invites you in.
As before.
To
That's,
her,
that's all of us, right?
Yep, that's all of you. And her home is fairly spacious. It's a fairly large house. It's probably even bigger than Lorimore Place, but it's not very stately in the sense that it feels cozy and homely, and not as much not as ostentatious as a manor of that size would usually be. So, and she takes you to a is it called a game room? I think is what it's called. It's like like a sitting area, a room to receive guests. That is well furnished with everything you could possibly want, like tables and nice chairs and bookshelves. But everything is nice, but not fancy. It's all good handiwork. May even be from Ravengro, and not imported from other places of Ustalav or anywhere else around the Inner Sea. And she offers you a seat and says, "Should I make tea for us? Is it going to be a longer report, or did you not learn anything at all?"
Tea would be appropriate.
All right, just give me a second. And you realize that she's not employing any servants. Apparently, she's running the whole place herself, which is quite impressive for an elderly lady like her. And she disappears for a little bit, and then returns with a tray of nice but not fancy cups and steaming hot tea. She pours each one of you a cup and says, "Okay, I'm ready. Tell me, what did you find?"
Councilwoman, pardon the question, but would you happen to know if the councilman had any relationships with, members of the opposite sex?
Or to be more specific, relationships that gone sour.
Well, you've only been in this town for a very short amount of time, so I take it that you have not picked up on Garen's reputation as a little bit of a lady's, even in his ripe old age. He can't stop himself from flirting with our beautiful girls in town. I've known him for quite some time, and I know that he's always been very successful with the opposite sex.
And has any of this romantic interest of his suddenly disappeared?
Disappeared? No.
Or
no.
just taking a leave of absence for, I don't know, 9 months?
Oh, what are you implying? She says, picking up on that particular reference.
We may have found some evidence that his actions were not without consequence, and his flirting may have gone beyond pretty words and romantic gestures.
Oh, don't think I'm a fool. Of course I know that he would engage with as many ladies as he could in physical activities. I'm no fool. And he had many such affairs for sure, and most of them were quite short-lived indeed. So I still don't understand what you are trying to get at.
Very well.
Apparently the relationships were not the only thing that were short-lived.
Very well. Let me, if you excuse me, I will just tell you, okay?
Okay.
Please.
Madam Councilwoman, we, as you asked us, we have investigated the house of Councilman Naėllaržan. It was filled with some unholy active spiritual phenomena that tried to murder us in several ways. At the same time, it showed us some events that unfolded in the past, which, as far as we led to believe, might have been actually true. In any way, deep in the cellar, we have located. Arronax
What? Spit it out.
Takes a meaningful pause. What seems to be remains of a child.
She gasps. You don't think
Well, we can't really assume much, considering that spirits that showed us the visions were very angry apparitions, and the state that they show us was not exactly pleasant, so I can't really say that Councilman actually was engaged in murdering children, but spirits are angry at him very
What,
much.
how? What do you? I mean, there's always been that suspicion that you know, with
child
one of the farmers' families who have a dark-haired son, even though both of the parents are blonde. Were always these rumors that maybe Garen had anything to do with that and fathered a child out of wedlock. But why? You're talking about murdering his own child. Why would he do that?
Well, the visions that spirits inflicted upon us showed this, well, supposed offspring was very deformed and I would say mutated. I do not know from which influence it came, but well, it might have not been for this up to this world.
She's getting quite worked up about this, and her hand starts to shake, and she spills some of her tea on the saucer, and she puts it on the table noisily, and she says, this is quite awful what you're telling me here, and I don't appreciate you taking this tone about my dear friend.
Well, I mean, Councilwoman, pardon the implication, but the facts stand, and there is the corpse of a tragic child waiting to be buried right now at the Temple of Pharasma.
But how?
These are not foundless allegations. There is a body.
Oh, Garen, what did you do? And she has quite a lot of problems processing this. Her eyes start to get watery, and she just repeats again, "What did you do, silly old man?" I thank you for your thorough investigations and for reporting this to me. I'm still having a hard time believing every word you're saying, but
well, if
there is proof, then I guess there's no point in denying it. But
hopefully, now that the remains will be put to rest, the angry spirits in his manor will be calmed as well, so it will be safe to investigate for you personally.
Yeah, it would be good to know who this victim was and who the mother was. I mean, wouldn't want to get those restless ghosts all riled up again, would we?
I don't think this, Dad. I don't think that you're taking this in the right direction. This is we of course we need to bury the child, but I think we should bury the whole thing with him. Garen is buried. The child is obviously beyond help, and there's no point in ruining the reputation of a dead man. He's many people in town look up to him, and he's always been a beloved father figure for during many trying times that Ravengro experienced. And you've only been here for 6 days. You don't know what it's like to live in a backwater town in Ustalev, and he's sailed this ship through many a storm, I can tell you. And I really I do not appreciate you trampling on his legacy like that.
Oh, well, Councilwoman, I think you misunderstood my comments, and for that I apologize. I was just remarking, and I can get to digging a hole right away. Should I expect payment from you or from Father Grimbarrow?
She hesitates, and then she says, "I see, of course, payment. Yes.
I can get digging right away. It doesn't have to be up front. Just so I know
see.
who the.
No.
Commands
You are absolutely right. Your discretion and your investigative services should, of course, be compensated. And I appreciating your the fact that you're understanding how sensitive this matter is. I'm sure I can offer you offer to repay your expenses for your time. And she gets up after making all these quite obvious references to the fact that she expects you to stay silent about the whole matter. Take her. I'm sure that you got
Just to
caught up.
clarify, Geier wasn't trying to shake her down.
I know.
He's just like, okay, I reported things to the authorities. My job
I
here
got
is
that.
done.
I mean,
Everything.
I got that.
She
But,
asked us to
she-
investigate it, so
But she saw that opportunity, so she's gonna seize it, and she's gonna get up from the table, and she disappears for a little bit, and then comes back with a jingling leather pouch, and she gently puts it on the table, and she says, "So I think I understand what you're telling me."
I
I
don't
think
I don't think you do, Madam Councilwoman. This is far too much for me digging a hole.
Of course, yes, but some things are harder to bury than others, and I appreciate the effort it takes you to resolve this matter.
It's no effort. It's just shoveling dirt.
well, if you insist, Madame Councilwoman, Dr. Arronax then rises up and picks up the satchel or the pouch, weighing it in his hand.
Before you can grab it, she reaches out and holds her hand over the pouch, and she says, "We do have an agreement here, right?" She says to Arronax.
Well, I can assure you the reputation of late councilman will not be uprooted by my words, and, well, I will leave the burying to the professionals.
Professional. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, and he Arronax will also meaningfully nods to her, implying that she's a professional.
The most obvious wink.
All right, so she lets go of the pouch and lets you take it, apparently satisfied with your response.
Are we leaving now?
I suppose.
Okay, as we're on our way out the door, then Crow will turn to the councilwoman and he says, "You have bought our silence, but there is still Father Grimborough with a corpse in his temple, and he knows where it came from." And he walks out.
And as you walk out, you can hear her mumble behind your back, something along the lines of, "Don't you worry, we look after our own."
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so with that said and done, Geier turns to his companions. So, I'll head over to the restaurant, start digging the hole,
Mm-hmm.
and if one of you can let Father Grimborough know that that's where he can find me, and the place shall be ready in, let's say, a half an hour, 45 minutes. It's a small
Fast
hole.
digging.
It's a
Small
small
hole.
hole.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
These
with
visions.
that, Geier shoulders his spade and, tunelessly whispers as he walks up towards the restaurants. Seemingly completely oblivious to all this winking and subterfuge that was going on.
All right.
Crow will turn to Arronax and Emaírel then, and he'll say, "These visions that you mentioned, they did not show you who the woman was?"
Well, they showed us a woman. We have no idea who she was.
Yeah.
But you saw her clearly. You have a physical description, at least.
I think we do, right?
We should, yeah.
And he just kind of nods at that. Okay.
Do you have an idea of who it might be?
Oh, I was not there. I have no idea at all. I was wondering if you might.
Well, unfortunately, these events might have occurred way before then I was alive, so whoever she was, I had really no way of knowing.
She may
Alright.
still be in this town to this very day.
I guess so, yeah.
That's all, just a thought.
I imagine we didn't get any striking resemblance with anyone we've seen in town.
It was it was a Varisian woman, and you have not met any Varisians or any like ethnic
Yeah,
Varisians.
Varisians are not very well received here.
They're like the traveling folk. She was definitely one of the traveling folk. And while Ustalav has been settled by Varisians and many of its inhabitants have Varisian ancestors, they probably wouldn't call themselves that, but the true-blooded Varisians that are still traveling with their caravans all across the inner sea, they are sort of outsiders, and people are very suspicious of them. And you haven't met any of those.
Okay.
So yeah, then I suppose we see the Father Grimbow and plot our next steps.
Okay. So you all want to go to the funeral, or like the burial? It's not really a funeral, just a burial.
I mean, someone has to go let Father Grimber know that Geier is, digging.
Okay, so you're all
First.
heading out there.
Yeah, sure.
You're all heading out there, meeting up with Father Grimber, and who is not very talkative this morning, and he just quietly clutches the tiny little box that holds the remains. He has an acolyte with him as well, and by the time you get to the Restlands, that acolyte has not spoken even a single word, just held his head down and kept his eyes fixed on the ground. Once at the Restlands, Geier has already dug a small hole, small but deep, and it's a quick ceremony with not too much decorum, just going through the motions, placing the little box in the hole in the ground, and then Geier fills it back up with soil.
Sorry, give me 1 second, guys, please. Sorry.
And soon after, the father and the acolyte leave, having done their duty. And you can all give me a perception and a sense motive check.
Sorry about that. Sorry. I'm back. What did I miss?
You can roll a perception and a sense motive check.
Me?
Yep.
But I'm not with the rest of the party, am I?
The rest of the party is with you
Oh.
now.
That's perception. And sense motive.
All right. So, okay. Crow is the only one that notices that the acolyte seems more than just beautiful in his silence. He seems a little bit intimidated by the father's presence. But I mean, the father outranks him by quite a lot, so maybe that's why he's being so shy about it. Yeah. So once the remains are buried, the duo from the temple leaves, and you stand around the restlands, letting your gaze wander across the many tombstones and crypts that sit here.
And with
And,
this, the skeleton's buried back inside. Sighs Arronax.
And I'm gonna take Carnus to the room next door real quick.
Mm.
You hear me, Carnus?
Yes.
Okay, I have to find something real quick and then... There we are. Okay, so as you look over all these tombstones, you see one of the tombstones having Geier written on it. Just the word Geier, no last name. And you squint to see if am I seeing this right? And you see that there's even an inscription that reads, "Come to my world and be as I am now, soon you will be. Embrace your end and witness me." And there's even a smaller inscription below that reads, "Died 4661 AR."
Is that current date or?
That is 50 years from today.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna take you back.
Mm-hmm. Arronax, after saying this, he was like squints somewhere in the in the distance, rubs his eyes. Do I still see that?
Wait, you saw it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, as I said, skeletons are buried, and so are we. No, not. Hopefully, not yet. So, what's our next move?
Well, I say it's high time that we get ourselves to Harrowstone Asylum.
Again, right. See, you haven't been there yet.
Well, of course not. We haven't been there yet.
Didn't we tell him that we were there yet?
I guess not.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Crow. I suppose you are somewhat out of the loop. Before this whole mess, he solemnly looks at this fresh grave. Before this whole mess started, we attempted our small investigation into the Harrowstone, and we almost died.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm back.
Oh, you went to Harrowstone.
Yes, and we had to drag ourselves back
So it was as dangerous as everyone says.
Perhaps more than we anticipated. We expected danger, but
we didn't expect full apparitions of flying execution implements trying to murder us. And almost succeeding at that. Arronax shivers again.
I see.
Yeah, he rubs his chest with a scythe almost slashed him apart. Not something I would like to repeat, but I suppose if you have our backs, we might attempt it again, but not without a good supply of holy water.
The only other lead that I know of in town is the youths who hang out there regularly if they have any additional information, but at this point it might simply be easier for us to gather the information ourselves back at the asylum.
Very well. But I must stress it again, we should not go there without holy water. Lots of it.
Yes, and I would like time to make some more cartridges myself.
Speaking of which, how much money Council Women gave us? I think it's about time for us to count it. Right at the top of fresh grave, you know?
I was gonna say, the soil hasn't even settled and you count your silverlings. Well,
Yeah.
your gold pieces. It's 100 gold pieces.
25 each.
Mm-hmm. And holy water.
Okay.
And
It's
yeah, and holy water costs exactly 25 gold pieces. So
Yeah, but you're getting a discount
Yeah.
because you are trusted at this point, so you're paying 10% less.
Mhm. So my suggestion would be to spend this quote-unquote ill-gotten money on Father Greenbarrow and ask him to brew us some potent holy water.
I would agree. At least for my share.
Crow kind of mumbles, but he says, "Well, if you think it's that necessary, where we are going."
I can assure you we wouldn't be standing here if we didn't use all our holy water back there.
Very well.
So I suppose this is the plan, to spend 90 gold pieces, right, on holy water.
So how many do you want to buy?
4 flasks, I suppose, if everyone okay with it.
How are we doing for healing? Since I note that our other mysterious friend is not with us today.
I have an extract of Cure Light Wounds.
And looking at my inventory, I have 3 potions of Cure Light Wounds.
It's great, because I have nothing.
That's good. I can actually well, if Simon,
I'm just
nothing
gonna
either.
I'm just gonna not get hit, so it's fine.
well, if
Good
Simon,
strategy.
yeah, if Simon allows it, I could say that I have prepared 2 Cure Light Wounds extracts.
How are we for HP? That's another question.
Well, Father Greenbarrow healed us, I believe, when we...
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah, he did the right. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be fully. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and have 2 Cure Light Wound extras.
So I have then 2 Cure Light Wounds and 1 Summon Nature's Ally.
That's just for you, though, right?
Not anymore, because I have now Infusion Discovery.
Oh, okay. Cool. Then I guess that's probably okay. Are we splitting the other 2.5 gold pieces between us? Or we each get
I feel I should get those. I was the one who dug the hole.
We were not paid for the hole, we were paid for our silence, and in that we all share equally.
Do you want to dig the next hole?
As long as it's the same size as this one. That was dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for a gravedigger, that was a bit dark. Jesus. I still think I should get paid for that. I dug the hole, I grappled with the scythe. I was knocked unconscious. You were out, what, sleepwalking?
What would make you say something like that?
Oh, I don't know that, right? No, you were out. You were out. While we were doing all the work.
Crow rolls his eyes. He's not gonna squabble over 2.5 gold pieces.
Now, 2.5 gold pieces can last you a week of good living, you know? So...
Give me the gold pieces. You have to pay the gravedigger.
Very well. Let's pay the gravedigger.
So how much was it in total?
You have 10 left. 10 gold, I guess. What do you even do with that? All you do is walk around and dig holes.
Maybe I need a new shovel.
A 10 gold piece shovel.
Must be sharp one.
Gotta dig in style. So, sorry, because I didn't write it down. So how much was it that we got paid?
100 gold pieces.
Yeah, that we divided between the 4 of us, right?
And we spent 90 of those on 4 flasks of holy water.
Yeah.
So there's 10 left, and you're getting it.
Yes.
I mean, I'll share it, but just want my work to go recognized. It's a dirty job.
Krur looks
Not many
down
people want to do it.
Krur looks down at the small grave that's in front of us. He says, "Oh yes, it's good job. Fine craftsmanship there. We really should celebrate the quality of work."
Oh, I'd like to see you bury children for a living.
I think we stood here long enough. Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's get going, please.
Seems like the place is getting to you, yeah. So you make your way back to town. Yeah, arguing about who gets what. And yeah, maybe you really do feel like your squabbles were somewhat influenced by this dreadful vibrations that you got from the Restlands, and maybe now that you've left that horrible place of death behind, maybe you start to see things in a less black and white manner, and actually feel or appreciate the value of helping each other out a little more. But maybe not. And yeah, you get back into town at this fork of the road. So where are you gonna go next?
Well, the plan was to go to the temple and get ourselves holy water that we said. And if we did that, then
Okay, yeah, that's not an issue. I mean, 4 flasks is not too much to ask, so you can easily acquire 4 flasks of holy water.
yeah. And after that, it's I suppose to go and prepare to go and back to Harrowstone. I hope we won't die there now.
I'm sure it will be fine. I mean, unless anybody else has any other thoughts about what to do around town.
I know for sure Father Grimbarrow would appreciate not having to stare at my ugly mug for a while, so I think in order to stay on his good graces, I better make myself sparse. But if anybody's hungry or thirsty, and I'm buying.
I'm not sure I have the appetite at the moment.
Yeah, not much desire to eat.
We probably should build it up discovering some unholy secrets that the asylum holds. So? No, did I say asylum? I meant prison.
It is an asylum.
And a prison.
Yeah, just the same way as Arkham.
Let's go then.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're from the temple. You head straight to Harrowstone.
Well, more or less.
All
Yes.
right.
Although, before we go there, I think Arronax will visit the Lorimer's place again and pick up his crossbow at this point. Since now he knows there is like some unholy shit in there and it would be better to shoot it. If opportunity arises.
Okay. Yeah. Move some stuff around here. There we go. And yeah, and just like the day before, you head south and out of town. And then you continue on your way for a while. At least this time you are spared these strange tracks in the dusty road in front of you that seem to appear and disappear out of thin air. And you make your way over to the barren hill just south of the city, where the stark, sagging roof of the central structure of the Harrowstone ruins is visible through a large gap in the surrounding wall. There's a partially overgrown track that leads from the southern edge of town, winding around the base of the hill, and then back up along the southern slope to the prison itself. And as we've already talked about last time, but I'm going to repeat it just because so we all have the same idea again. If you zoom out a little bit, you should be able to see pretty much the entire compound.
Complex.
And it can be roughly separated into 4 areas. Or more like 3 actually. It's the grounds, the outside grounds that you've explored a little bit already. Then there's the ground floor of the building, and the upper floor seems to be still at least partially intact and can actually be entered directly via some stairs without going through the ground floor. And there's this huge lake that is pretty obviously something like a sinkhole, probably, because it certainly hasn't been there before. because some parts of the ruined walls still stick out of the dark, muddy waters.
Did you find the place where Lormore was killed or
Yeah.
died?
I believe
Crow,
indeed.
look at this, and tell me what you make of it. And I lead Crow towards where Lorimor was killed, and I show him how it seems that something was deliberately dropped on his head. What make you of this?
So, Anthony, did you catch up on the video?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So I see the. Is there like a blood patch or something or anything on the ground left, or I guess it's all gone at this point?
That is probably gone. Yeah, but you can still see a patch of dead grass because of the body that's been lying there for quite some time. It has probably seeped into the soil itself, and it's going to take a while until something grows there. So you can see where the body must have been, and you can sort of see where something must have fallen off the roof overhead.
And there was something about like a notch or something in the
Yes, exactly.
base
That's
of
what,
it.
what Gaia points out to you is this tiny little detail that could mean nothing. It could also mean everything.
Yeah, it always struck me as odd that the gargoyle would just happen to fall on the man. That's why I spent so much time looking for those damn kids.
Or you think a kid pushed the gargoyle on his head?
I mean, I doubt that their child would attempt an intentional murder like that, but I was trying to find more information.
If you're looking for more information, I can tell you for free that falling gargoyles are not the only dangerous things here. And this
Yes.
place is truly haunted. It is despicable.
Crow will take a moment to load a bullet into his blunderbuss and, yeah, reload it with the powder horn and all of that.
I don't know how effective that will be against disembodied farming equipment. I'm actually slightly concerned you might shoot one of us by accident with that
Well, if
contraption of yours.
Oh, don't worry, I'm quite a good shot.
Crow proved himself already when he didn't slay everyone in the bar when the Sturges attacked us, so I suppose we can trust him at least on this front.
Those were a few bugs, and it would have been much simpler to just squash them like I did.
But
What was Emaírel if he would be dead or alive without me?
I'm just saying, when the time comes, I'd rather not be shot. If it's not too much of a bother, sir.
Well, I'd rather not shoot you.
And I'm sure you won't, says Dr. Arronax, pointedly starting to walk away.
What is that contraption anyway? Did out of character, did Crow already have that thing when Geier and him met back in Lippestadt?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
had it as long as you've known him, and he's
Oh,
always
okay.
carried it on like his guard patrols and stuff.
Oh, okay. So, great. So, never mind that question. Carry on. Just that, yeah, Gaia had never actually seen it in action. It's always just figured it was, decorative, like those funny hats some guards wear.
And so this building that building's collapsed now.
Yeah.
Mostly, yeah. It's a.
Well,
It used to be a small brick manor house, grown with thick sheets of gray-green ivy, but the roof that had been sagging last time you were here has come down entirely now, and yeah, you can see through the open front door that the entire ground floor is basically just a giant pile of rubble.
Well, thankfully we were able to investigate that building last time, and there was nothing of use inside. So that's not a big loss. By the way, why exactly are we going back to the place where the murder scythe almost killed us?
Because we're, I suppose, hoping that it won't bother us again.
I don't know. Can we try to open the front door?
So you're
fine by
moving
me.
to check out the main entrance. Okay, so you move closer towards the two-story stone building that looms in the center of the prison grounds. Ivy and moss cling tenaciously to the walls, while above the wooden shingles of the roof are often missing entirely, exposing the wooden rafters of the upper structure to the sky. Here and there, leering stone gargoyles perch on the eaves, once functioning as drain spouts and decorations, but now seeming almost to serve a more ominous role of sentinels. Many of these stone decorations have crumbled away and lie in ruined piles of soggy ground below. Windows in the building's facade are narrow and blocked by grills of rusty iron bars. Stone columns support a slumping wooden balcony over the building's wooden front doors, both of which hang askew and reveal dark glimpses of chambers. Moving
I
towards the
would
front
steer
entrance.
clear of those gargoyles that haven't fallen yet.
We can try, push them preemptively.
I have to ask, as we're eyeing up this dark corridor, all of a sudden Crow kind of looks at Arronax and he's like, is everyone getting one of those holy waters?
Does anyone else here knows how to use them?
Oh, you throw them at things, right? They splash, they make them sizzle.
Well, yes, and I can make them sizzle very painfully.
Oh. Well, I suppose hold on to it then.
Yes, that was sort of the plan because because Alchemist gets +4 to damage with splash weapons.
Ah, got it. Is that a special thing that you took, or do all alchemists get that?
That's actually all alchemists get that. Because, well, they get their intelligence to damage with bombs, and it translates into all other splash weapons, and holy water is a splash weapon.
Huh. Okay.
That is in part why we survived.
So, who's gonna
No
take the lead?
ghosts.
Any ghosts?
Any ghosts? What do you mean? Did you
No
ask
ghosts
me?
pop out?
Nothing happens immediately, no.
No gargoyles on our noggin.
Just the ominous main entrance to the ruined prison.
Well, in that case, before we open, Arronax will pull out a vial of toxically red liquid and well, for health, and gulps it down.
Geier will prod the door with his shovel.
All right, let me move us to the next map. I hope everything's gonna work over here. It's a complicated map. Can you see a little bit?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I can't see anything.
You can't see anything? To that
It's
in
got
your-
dynamic lighting. Oh, wait, no.
So you poke the main gate or the main doors that swing open with the mandatory eerie creak, and you behold what was once a wide hall flanked by a pair of waiting rooms, but the foyer to Harrowstone now lies in ruins, with little left to hold up the ceiling. The wooden beams above sag dramatically. The wall to the north contains a large pair of oaken doors.
Well, this will make a hell of a grave.
Not for
And again,
not for us, thankfully.
and he again tries to prod the doors open with the shovel.
And this time, it just gives a nice thunk. The oaken doors are still quite sturdy and are not as broken down as the main entrance.
Wait, so are we still outside here, or are we inside?
Yeah, we're still outside.
You're just below that balcony.
Oh, that was a balcony. Okay.
Yeah. The balcony is just above, but it's clear even to casual observation of the roof here that the balcony is unstable.
Yeah, I want to get out from underneath as fast as I can, so I try the door by hand.
All right.
I'm
And
while
yeah,
we're
you're
trying.
assuming you're muted.
I will roll for my unstable mutagen. Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't hear what you said, Simon.
You open the doors and they move, well, not really easily because they're quite rusty, but you manage to push them open. And beyond is another foyer of sorts. Streaks of mold stain the walls, and the floor below is just a thick gray carpet of fungal growth. Sturdy wooden doors beckon from every wall. Apart from the light that falls in from outside, the interior of the prison is apparently still very dark, so I would suggest using a light source for those of you without dark vision.
Psh. Who doesn't have dark vision?
Hmm.
Who's better suited to have a torch, Arronax or Crow? Yeah, I kind of need two hands for my weapon.
I have a lamp if somebody cares to use it, but I'm not planning on carrying it.
Very well, I will carry it. Says Arronax. At this point, he is visibly buffed up in muscle, and with his jacket now almost stretched upon his frame.
Actually, no, I can carry my own lamp. It's fine. That's the creep factor. That's kind of like why I have it for, anyway. You know, the old ghoul walking around, lamp in one hand, shovel in the other. Make the ghost afraid.
That's a weird thing you do, Arronax.
Hmm? What thing?
Right.
You look larger.
Oh. Pay no mind to it. It's just a mere combat stimulant.
It's like a posture thing? Are you like standing up straighter or what?
No, I infuse myself with extra testosterone and proteins to temporarily increase my muscle mass.
Is that like indigestion?
Only
Bloating?
no, but if you drink it, it will give you indigestion so horrible you want to rise from your toilet for 2 days.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
Yes, we should. Says Arronax, stepping forward.
We
Or no?
Okay.
So we try the doors.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Okay, then everybody give me a check.
What check?
What check?
Perception. Perception. Okay, Emaírel, Gaia, and Crow, you get to roll initiative.
Oh.
And here I was about to say, we should split up, gang.
Oh, that would be terrible.
This guy's initiative.
Yeah, sorry, I want to do it with the sheet now. I was just checking to see if it was the right value.
There we go. Okay, so Crow, Gaia, and Emaírel. You all notice it, but only Crow and Gaia will actually have a chance to act on. But you all see as Crow reaches for the handle of that door, that the handle moves before he touches it. Crow, you have like a split second to react. What are you gonna do?
When you say moves, how does it move?
It just like slowly moves downwards. And we're talking really like just fractions of seconds is what this represents.
Okay, I pull my hand back.
Pull your hand back. Any action you want to take? It's a surprise round basically, so a move or a standard action.
I shoot the handle.
Bam! The shot rings out. Is it pellets you're firing?
It's a bullet.
It's a bullet. All right. The bullet goes pew! As it ricochets off the metal handle and slams somewhere into the ceiling. Gaia, what are you going to do?
It's a bit crowded there. So Geier will set down the lamp and hold his shovel with both hands in front of him, ready
Right.
to.
The handle moves, you hold the shovel at the ready, and the next moment, not just this door slams open, but all of the doors in all of the walls open at the same time, and in flood people with horribly burned faces screaming at the top of their lungs. It makes your skin crawl, but not just seeing them, but also hearing their terrified, pained, tormented screams. Judging by their clothes, they must all have been they must all be inmates at this prison, and they rush into the room, giving you a sort of vertigo and nausea as they flood the chamber, and then the entire spectacle stops with a slam as all of the doors slam shut at the same time. You close your mouths, take a deep breath, and try to figure out what just happened.
You can bury the bodies, but the spirit, that's another matter.
What just happened? Dr. Arronax jumps at the sound of Crow shooting the door, and then he's like all startled by the sudden onslaught of seemingly spirits, or he's very confused, and his buffed physique doesn't really help him at this point.
Yeah, Crow had his gun up to kind of ward off anyone who was coming at him, who's obviously was unloaded at this point, so he's just holding it in a defensive position as these things were rushing at him, and then all of a sudden they're all gone, and he just, as the door slammed, he just spins around and looks at everyone and goes, "What's happening in this place?"
Well,
I think this is what
More
Lorimore
spirits.
was warning us about in his journal.
yeah.
Whatever happened here, it will not let these people rest. Or somebody's controlling this.
Unlikely.
I mean, if you were trying to keep people out,
Well,
Uh,
Mister?
Let's try the theory, and
Yeah.
Emarél will reach again for the.
Crow's gonna
Reach-
reload his gun as they're talking. Like as soon as he realizes they're not under immediate attack, he immediately starts reloading.
would shooting in like this kind of close quarters, will that not like give every one of us tinnitus or something?
Probably.
I mean, this
It's
is
loud,
this is still an early firearm. The gunpowder's not like super advanced. It's gonna be loud, but not like
We're not going to be hearing
explosions going off next to your head loud.
Well,
Fair-
it
fair enough.
is an explosion going next to your head, though.
Tiny one, though. Tiny one. Your bombs are probably louder.
Well, they're
Controlled
bombs.
explosion.
All right.
And-
So Emarél reaches for the handle and tries it, and this time there's no such thing that happens as before. However, the door does not budge.
Doctor, maybe you want to take a look at this lock?
Well, is it locked? Let
You
me see.
check out the lock, and you check out the lock, and it's quite easy to see that it's totally rusted and it's not locked.
Well, move aside, says Arronax. So, as I mentioned, the main benefit of my combat enhancement drugs is increased muscle mass.
You throw yourself against the door, trying to break it down.
Well, it's more like trying to kick it in. But yeah.
It only shows a +2, is that right? Your roll only shows a +2 to strength. Is that right?
Yes, it is. My native strength is 10, and with mutagen it becomes 14.
Okay. You throw yourself against the door, which is already pretty rotten. The wood, you can smell it. It's not very sturdy anymore, but it resists your very powerful attempt. Quite curious, and definitely not normal.
This place defies all logic.
All right, next door.
Let's give it a try.
Try the next one, and it's the exact same thing. And as you try one by one, you realize you're locked in this place.
Wait, even outside?
Even outside, even the front door.
I told you this place would make for grave.
Emaírel will try to detect magic.
All the doors radiate magic.
Aha.
You can give me a knowledge arcana check. 24. It's abjuration is the school, and when you even manage to identify the particular spell effect, which is a hold portal spell that appears to be affecting each of the doors.
Well, there seems to be some solid magic keeping us in here.
How long will this magic last?
Thought we could have both, but fine.
Well, shooting the door doesn't work. Trying to kick it in doesn't work. I could try to.
Sorry, Geier, I'm just a little bit tense right now. Sorry,
This-
Doctor.
Doors are closed by magic. Do you know magic to open them?
Explosions.
I would hold off on that.
Wise choice.
Simon, does an 18?
So you wait a couple of minutes while Crow paces the room and looks around, but it's there. Apart from this fungal growth on the floor that feels very spongy to the touch, there's nothing that stands out in the room that actually is quite frustrating. And even though you're just killing a minute or two, it makes you feel really uneasy to be locked in here.
While Crow is frantically inspecting the walls and things like that, Geier casually leans against one of the walls with his lamp in one hand and starts humming this kind of creepy song about, graveyards and how we're all worm food, and it's kind of little ditty he knows.
Trying to lighten the mood.
I mean, he knows where we all come from and where we all are ending up, so he's not that fazed by the finality of it all. At least not yet.
By the time Geier starts the third verse, Emaírel, I would assume, casts Detect Magic again.
Yeah.
And you notice that the spell has run its course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's try this again.
You said that the handle moved. I mean, we assumed it, like, moved. But
Well,
But
that's-
then all the doors opened and all the spirits ran in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Emaírel, do you have anything that you can think of in this split second that you have
No.
you want to do? All right, Doctor.
Well, I assume Doctor already kind of got the hint first, and since Thirst Crow stopped from opening the door and spirits flooded in, well, let's try doing the opposite and kick the door anyway and try to hold it open.
You try to hold it open. All right. So the doors blast open once again, and again this tide of tormented souls that flood the chamber, screaming in pain. You can almost smell the burnt flesh on their faces and their bodies, and the singed inmate clothes they are wearing. The doctor nevertheless tries to hold on to one of the wings of as the apparition runs its course, and then finally all the doors slam shut again. Give me a strength check. Yeah. The door is going to try to close.
Can I attempt to aid him?
Sure.
Like as I see that he's trying to hold this thing.
I have clicked. It will probably now roll in about a couple of minutes because roll 20 is lagging.
Nope.
Yeah, I think the 3D dice are really causing Roll20 to lag a lot. Okay, so Crow maybe is not quick on his feet enough to be there in time. And the doctor, you put in a valiant effort to hold it open, but it's just you feel your feet being dragged across the stone tiles with the door as some supernatural force pulls it shut. And at some point, you just have to let go, otherwise it would certainly smash your fingers. So that's what you do, and the doors all slam shut again.
That's it, I'm destroying this door.
Perhaps next time, we simply run in while the door is open.
That's certainly an option, but it also opens up the possibility of this thing separating us.
True.
Or we try to run out the front door when that one opens.
Well, we
Was
can
it
always...
the same door that you tried to open?
Yeah.
Should we try and open another door, perhaps?
Yeah. So you wait a couple of minutes, and Emaírel confirms that the doors are no longer held.
Take your pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ready an action to move as soon as the door is open.
Okay.
So which
That-
one you would prefer?
That still takes an initiative roll, though, because the initiative means how quickly you can react. I'll give you a
Okay.
bonus on your initiative roll, but you would
Okay.
still have to beat it.
Geier should probably get closer to the door.
It's a bit crowded.
All right. So you try once again.
Yes. Well, okay. yeah,
Perception. Well, with the bonus from readying your action, that brings you just up to 10, which is when the haunt acts. So you do get to act before it. All right, Doctor. Once again,
Well,
the hand starts to turn.
yeah, and at this point he shoves the door with his shoulder and tries to go through.
Okay. Well, as a move action, you can open the door, and you see beyond in the hallway very little, because the light from Gaia's lamp is not shining into it very well. But there seems to be a long hall.
Arronax, did you not move in?
I can't.
No, it's a move action to open a door.
Oh shit. Okay.
I can only hope that from your side it will open normally.
All right, and as everybody moved in to the hallway, everyone who's in the hallway has a strange view of the event. For the Doctor plays out just as before. You are being rushed by the dozens, if not hundreds, of burnt prisoners. But for everyone else, you just see the Doctor being pushed around by unseen forces, and then poof, the door slams shut again.
I'll give the door a try.
It's held.
I suppose we have to wait for the spell to pass.
Doctor, can you hear us?
Can I hear them?
Yeah, you can hear him just fine, just muffled through the rotten door.
And, well, Arronax will like, knock twice at the door, like, I can hear you.
Playing the rapping spirit.
Yeah.
We'll try again, and this time we'll open it from our side so that you can move in.
Thanks. The action economy is a bitch, huh?
Battalion of burn victims floods the chamber, making you spin, and the doors slam shut again.
God,
And
Oh my God.
this isn't
God,
working.
what a horrible, cursed existence for these poor souls.
for the rest of
For
you in
poor
the
souls, for
hallway,
poor me.
for the rest of you
I
in
hope
the
you're right.
hallway, you opened the door. You saw the doctor being there in the room, just being like, being pushed around, and then the door was was pulled out of your hand and slammed shut.
Okay, alright. We're gonna do this again. This time, Crow's gonna ready in action to physically grab the doctor and yank him through the door when it opens.
And Geier will stick the like head of the shovel into the door before it closes again.
That's how you break a shovel.
You break a shovel, break the door.
I mean, we will want to get out of here at some point. And if we need to leave in a hurry, I would rather not have to go through all this yet again. Something's gotta give.
All right, so you wait out the effects duration once more.
Mm-hmm. At this point, my
Yeah,
vision is
easily.
at least half of already.
Yeah.
used.
Definitely. You give the doctor a warning once again, and then you rip the door open,
Mm-hmm.
triggering the effect once more. And Crow, I will need an initiative check.
And Geier will stick the shovel into the
Okay,
door
I
crack.
need an initiative check from Geier too.
Are you kidding me?
Ooh,
All right.
That's not great.
So neither of you can react before the haunt is triggered. And Crow, you see the doctor being flung around right in front of you, almost looks like he's convulsing, and you reach out to grab him since that was your readied action. And I will need a strength check.
Did he not pass the perception to get his own initiative?
I got
Oh,
that.
there. Yeah. Well, wait, but I figured what's he gonna do? But yeah, he does.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, so a strength check. That's what
Yeah.
you're looking for. Oh boy.
and you reach for the doctor, but instead of pulling him out into the hallway, you are actually being pulled in as if you were reaching into a fast, thundering current, and it just kind of rips you off your feet and takes you with it. And then, Geier, all that's left for you to do is slam your shovel against the door as it slams shut just before you can wedge it in there.
Ow.
So now
Okay.
both Crow and the doctor are in the dark room, trapped by haunted doors.
Can't we treat this like take 20? We know what would work, we just need the right rolls for it, and there's no...
You don't know if there's no repercussion.
We don't know if there's...
No repercussions for failing. I mean, there was a repercussion just now.
Yeah, this is preposterous. The sound of Dr. Arronax comes from the other side, and with a large thump at the door again. As he tries to just, push it back in through the magic.
The doors really aren't magical at all when they're not being held, right?
Yeah.
Can't we just break the doors without trying to open them?
Well, that's what Arronax tries to do.
Oh, that's right. When you tried, it was already held.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could try when it isn't, once the spell wears off.
But when the spell wears off, the hunt resets, and so
The thing that
maybe what
triggers the hunt,
triggers, yeah.
the triggering mechanism seems to be attempting to open the door. We haven't necessarily just tried to destroy it.
We're screaming this through like the doors, right?
We should just break this thing!
Oh, don't give him ideas about the explosives. He's not.
Did you say explosives? Ah.
Oh God, here we go. I turn towards Emaírel. At least we're on the safe side, if there is such a thing. I fear those explosives will bring the whole ceiling down.
Well, before you try blowing it up, maybe we give it one last try to force it open.
Very well. Together then.
Together. Can you guys help from the other side too? Or I guess that would involve attempting to open the door and triggering the...
Well, okay then. On count 3. 1,
I'm aiding you.
2. Well, see, it worked, kind
That's
of.
not a great display.
It is actually quite pitiful, and you just hear a soft thud through the shut doors, and
The sorcery that holds these doors are strong.
How solid do the doors look?
well, they are fairly old and fairly rotten, also sort of swollen in their frames. So getting them open is not as much about breaking them down as also about making them move.
We could try to just... no, it's probably a bad idea. To blast them with holy water to dissipate the evil spirits, but we don't really have much holy water to spare.
Yeah.
I mean, we can keep trying to get in this way, or it seems like it's relatively easy for you guys to get out. So we could potentially just try to leave and find another entrance.
Yeah. Well, one last attempt before leaving. Geier, can you try with me to smash the door with your spade?
I can try.
Okay, go ahead and try it.
So I imagine regular attack rolls.
No, it's just a. Oh, you mean to wear it down, not to
Yeah.
break?
Yeah.
Just keep attacking.
Yeah.
What's the damage die of your shovel, and what's your strength modifier?
It's 1d6 plus 4. And strength modifier is plus 3.
Yeah, 1d6 plus 4. That includes your strength modifier.
On my side with the spear, it would be 1d8 plus 7.
Damn.
Yeah. What is that spear made of?
Well, it's more the power attack that's helping.
All right. Okay. So, Geier starts hammering his shovel against the door and just kind of chips away off the rotten but still apparently sturdy wood. And then Emaírel takes a deep breath, swings his weapon, the powerful swing, and smashes one of the doors open.
That's a solution.
And it just kind of falls out of its rotten hinges.
Now we have figured out one of the ways how to deal with this place.
Can we just I know you're muted, you only last so long, but can we just take a few minutes to smack all of these doors until they fall apart?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Or do you want to push on while you're still, bulked up?
Unfortunately, I can feel that my mutation is not at full strength anyway at this moment, and we have spent way too much time here already, so we might as well stay here a little much longer just to let it go through.
Including the ones that lead out of here.
Yeah. And just to be clear, you actually trigger the haunt a couple of times more, but your dedication.
It stops being scary after a while.
Speak for
Does it?
yourself.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I think, like, even putting up a brave face, it's quite harrowing.
But your dedication is eventually rewarded, at least in the sense that all the adjacent rooms are now accessible to you, and you have regained a way out of here.
And we'll be, psychologically scarred for the rest of our lives.
Or at least for the last week.
All right, let's take a quick break, 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody grab a drink.
Yeah, drink sounds good.
That's about right.
Yep.
So, scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yeah, this is interesting. How's that game going that you've been running?
It's been really good, except that we had to cancel this week. And we won't be able to resume until like August.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
that
not
kind of
good.
sucks. Yeah. Yeah, it's summer. You know how it is. Like I'm leaving for 3 weeks, and people are moving about. But I've been enjoying DMing much more than I thought I would, to be honest.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Actually, I just started a new game with a new group yesterday that I'm running.
D&D or Pathfinder?
D&D.
Campaign or homebrew?
It's homebrew. I've got I don't know. I'm playing with it's a few people that I know or I knew from college, and a couple people that I didn't that are friends of theirs. But they're all kind of assholes.
That's
Not necessarily
unheard of in a game of D&D.
Do
Not,
they?
I mean, they're kind of assholes in real life, not like in a
Oh.
terrible way.
Oh,
But
it's like not like the just like regular murder hobos. They're actual.
Do they try to?
oh
make-
no, they're straight up murder hobos in the game. At least one of them is. One of them
Yeah,
is
yeah,
very.
but it's not like okay, they're only murder hobos in the game. You're saying they're assholes in real life as well.
Mhm.
I mean,
Nice.
do you mean they are trying to create a industrial revolution based on one move, water cantrip, like my people did?
Not quite, but one of them is a druid who is his like hardcore, nature stuff. Hardcore. We need to get back to nature, and
Destroy civilization.
he wanted to worship a tree that he calls Treesus, and
Well, nothing wrong
Praise
with worshiping a
Treesus.
tree.
he runs around saying that y'all need Treesus constantly.
Okay.
I like him.
No industrial revolutions yet, but
Praise Patrices.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always extend the olive branch to him.
I got it. Well, I let him have Treesus because because homebrew setting, and I haven't done a ton of development on the deities. So you know what, he can have his like little cult religion. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Now, for us, like the most murder hobo-ish of our group, a rogue halfling, of course. They're in this like. You played Lost Mines of Fendelver, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, there's this like manor, and it's the hideout of the bad guys, and this guy manages to bluff a couple of guards into believing he's one of the guards. And I go like, holy shit! Like he bluffed his way. He opened the cask because he opened the cask of ale that was in a supply room, and the guys walk in and like, hey, what the hell are you doing here? And he convinced them like, oh no, I'm one of your guys. I'm the new. So he talks them into sharing a drink. And that's it. Like, he could have gotten to tell them everything about the layout, how many people, about the trap in the next room. And I was ready for that. And no, the moment the guy like leans in to take a drink, he stabs him in the neck. Like,
Yeah.
all right, you're just making things harder for you.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think
I
when
had
our party...
They already did the difficult thing. They passed all the bluff checks and everything. And,
When
Fine.
our party was in that manner, I was playing a bard, of course, and in the middle of combat, I managed to pull off a charm person on a thug. So like, so suddenly my bard from hiding behind a crate yelling like, "Wait, what are you doing? I'm on your side!"
Hmm.
and, and this dude, and the charm dude like, "Wait, what? It's you? I mean, come on!" Well,
That's the
it
thing,
didn't
like-
last long.
Yeah, the worst
But
thing
you
that
know
I've
how
had
you
so
know how
far.
to play. Like these guys that I'm playing with, they're mostly noobs. So it's also a bit of fun. Like we're all realizing what they can and cannot do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've got 3 players completely new to RPGs, and two of them have experience, but one of them wasn't there for the first session. So I've got 3 guys who have no idea what they're doing, and 1 guy who does. And one of the guys is playing a black dragonborn barbarian, and he is the ultimate murder hobo. His backstory is that he slaughtered a village of people, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And he gets visions that tell him what to do, and the player's trying to use these visions to justify him, like
Murdering everything.
just like, oh, I saw it in my vision. I'm like, no, that's not how that's gonna work, man. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But he did. They're in a prison colony right now because I knew they were going to be assholes from the start, so I put them in prison for starters. And they're mining for ore during the day, and at one point this murder hobo comes up, and his brilliant plan is to have one of the other people make a distraction while he is going to spend hours mining the cave wall such that it will collapse onto the guard. And he got
Well-
really close to pulling it off, actually.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if they
but
had-
I love that kind of inventiveness.
yeah, I mean,
It was like the most inventive thing that happened the whole session, and
Yeah.
it was hard for him to do, and he got like 90% of the way there. The cave-in didn't quite work the way that he wanted because he had he had like one low roll to actually get the strength check to make it happen, to make it start collapsing. But it was enough to distract the guard. Then he went to pickaxe him in the back, and he just he had advantage on the roll, and he just missed. That's all there was to it. He rolled
Oh
really
god.
low. And then the player was pissed the
Yeah.
entire rest of the session.
But
But I was
generally, when you mine a wall to collapse on a guard strategically, you have to do it for 5 years. Then it will be more satisfying.
He had a couple
Yeah,
he had a couple
mining.
of good rolls. He spent hours doing it.
I know how mining works. I've watched some Minecraft videos.
Yeah, exactly.
On completely unrelated note, how is our artist is doing? I mean, I think we almost got all her payment, right?
I think you're waiting on me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did she confirm she got the right amount from me?
Well, I mean,
Because I'm not sure how much she got with the fees and all that.
But you can usually choose to like in the app at least you can put like to send or to receive. So you can put like so she receives 100 Russian rubles.
I don't have that option. It seems like every country has different options. For me, it was basically like sending a payment for service, and they always take a little percentage off of that.
well, yeah, they took percentage from me as well, but well, they take percentage only from me. The whole sum goes to her, unchanged.
Well, for me, it was the other way around. They specified that the receiving party would have to pay the fees.
Well, I think that is when you put it as a payment for something. When you send it as a friend, it takes from your.
Well, the thing is, I only had the option to send it as a payment.
Well, PayPal is weird. Oh, I'll ask her tomorrow how she gets what she got.
All right, everybody's back.
Yes, sir.
I think so.
Okay. So, you've bashed in all the haunted doors, giving you a little bit of a sense of accomplishment, although you're
Right,
not
an
sure.
accomplishment.
Though you're not sure exactly what you've accomplished, except maybe angering the spirits of this place even more, possibly. But at least for now, they don't rise up immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now all directions open to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think at this point we can say that my mutagen is ran out.
Yeah, definitely.
Strength check.
Once again, it appears to be swollen shut, doesn't budge. So you need to throw your weight behind it.
Give it a good old shove. Oh, well, I need to get a running start.
Pretty stuck in there.
Wait, no, instead of strength, I'm gonna just use the tip of the Well, where shall we go?
Well, as usual, my
That door is actually open. And it has fallen from its hinges. The rectangular chamber beyond seems to have once been a chapel, but now thick sheaths of what appear to be cobwebs drape everything within in gossamer threads.
Okay, I'll go in
Move in.
if I can.
We're right
Sure,
behind you.
Yeah, it's all covered in webbing and cobwebs, but give me a perception check.
Please bring that light, Geier.
Sorry about that. Do you want to take the light?
Yep, and in the dancing lights of Geier's lamp that reluctantly falls into this room, you only catch a glimpse of something large and furry with dozens of eyes and many, many as they all move towards you very quickly, surprise you. Give me initiative, but it's gonna be a surprise round.
Me too? Or just...
Everybody roll initiative. And they use it to close in on you, Crow. So by the time you notice them, they are already all over you. Almost literally. They do have enough reach to not have to go into your square. So the artist rendition that you will see here is not entirely correct. But that's what they look like. They are these huge spiders with enormous abdomen and very vicious looking mandibles.
I hate spiders.
Don't
All
look
right,
friendly.
regular round. Crow, you're all of a sudden surrounded by these giant spiders that have crept up from underneath the pews and behind the altar.
And there's actually only one of them I can see in the light.
Yeah, the others you only know they're there.
I don't
but
even
you
I don't
can't
even know
see
how many
them.
there are.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna take a 5-foot step, I think. And I'm going to fire at the thing, the spider thing that is the only one visible to me.
All right.
Let's see. Firing a bullet.
Whoa! Critical hit card. Can you draw from the critical hit deck, or do I need to deal you a card?
We can draw from them.
Okay, so Crow gets
Oh,
to
I got it.
draw. And play it.
It is. Oh wait, crap! I thought by dragging it out of the thing it would be on the screen, but it's not.
Well, it
I
is
thought-
probably on screen, but in undercover.
Oh yeah. Simon, can you see a,
Oh, I see
a
it.
card?
Yeah, I found it. There we are. So you used a piercing.
Bullet, which is
right?
it counts as bludgeoning and piercing.
So which one? Oh, so you get to choose which one.
I'll take the punctured lung one.
All right, so you hit the spider exactly in its abdomen sac and cause double damage, which is 9 points of damage. Did I see that right?
Yeah.
All right, and it starts to tumble and sway, and there's this sickening sound. And out of the darkness, another spider jumps at you, Crow, and it tries to sink its glistening...
I'm going to... Oh, well, okay. I didn't see the... I'm doing this before I know what... When I know it's attacking me, but before I see the roll.
Oh, I see. Okay, I need to remember that.
Yeah. Oh, where the hell...
But you were going to say that you would do it, so let's just
Yeah.
walk us through it. What is it you're going to do?
I am spending a point from my pool for dodging panache.
Mm-hmm.
I spend 1 panache point, I can move 5 feet, and I get my charisma modifier to AC.
Panache or panache? Panache?
They draw from the same pool.
Oh, I see. Oh, right, that was that. Mm-hmm.
So can I
Okay.
step 5 feet? Can I step 5 feet like that?
No, because that's the doorway that's in the way.
Okay, well, I guess I only have one option then. It's just to step this way.
Okay.
Are you sure?
And the spider misses you, Doctor.
At least it makes room.
So, well, I was going to target the intersection before Crow stepped in there. Is there any space inside? Well, I can't really see it, I suppose.
Well, you can see what you can see, so...
Oh, sucks. So, well, Crow, can you survive my splash damage from my bombs?
You're asking me that? I mean, yeah, I
Well,
can
you-
survive the splash damage. It's not going to be fun.
Are you shouting that into the room, or how working?
Well,
I'm like,
I'm wondering somewhat between in and out of character, because my options here will either shoot them with a crossbow, which will be shooting into melee, and well, probably they will have 1, 2, 3 kinds of cover, or to toss a bomb inside, but there's Crow in there.
Yep, those are the options.
Yeah. Well, very well. Let's. Considering that Geier and Emaírel are probably will take vengeance on Crow for Crow. I will try to shoot the spider thing with a crossbow.
Okay, shoot.
This one.
That's a miss. And instead, the spider's turn comes up. The one that was already severely injured by Crow, and now it begins to drown as it's whatever it uses as lungs. Do spiders have lungs? I don't know. But its breathing apparatus is filling with liquid, and it just it crawls away very slowly. But Crow is only equipped with a ranged weapon, right? Or could you?
yeah, I don't have attacks of opportunity right now.
Okay, so it just crawls away and tries to hide under one of the pews. Emaírel.
We'll delay until right after Geier.
All right, Gaia.
Geier will rush in. Is there space for me to rush in? Because I can't really see.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, you can see what you can see.
Okay. Yeah, so Geier doesn't actually rush in, just kind of jumps a bit in and brings down the head of his shovel on the first spider.
Mm-hmm.
Does that counts as a 5-foot step, right?
Yeah.
So I can do flurry.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he'll do a flurry of vicious swings of his spade. And for flurry, it's just +3 with both of them. It's the first one. And the
And-
second one.
Both of those attacks miss. You just smash one of the old candlesticks that was sitting there, all covered in
Bloody things
cobwebs.
Scurrying about. Ah!
Emaírel.
Would Emaírel be able to attack this way with his reach weapon?
It would have cover, but you could.
Okay. Then he is going to take a 5-foot step there and try to stab the.
Yeah, but with Gaia in the way and the small spider is just too hard to hit. The other spider up here comes scurrying forward and tries to bite Crow. Oh, but a 2 is definitely going to be a miss. And Crow, your turn.
Let me see. I definitely provoke when I reload, so I'm just gonna leave.
Oh, nice.
Withdraw.
Yeah, I'll withdraw.
Okay, then one of the spiders gets an attack of opportunity as you move away from it. Oh, and a 19 actually hits for 1 point of non. Does it not?
I have dodge.
Oh, right.
So hold on, let me check
But not mobility.
my AC. Well, dodge and mobility are rolled into one with the
Oh,
elephant in
right,
the rune
yes.
rules.
Of course, yeah, sure. Right.
So
Very
my
nice.
AC goes up to what is it normally?
Right.
Actually, my AC goes up to 19, so it does hit.
Okay, so it's 1 point of non-lethal damage, but I will need a fortitude save because it does manage to pierce your skin just enough to pump its venom, I think, into you.
Mm-hmm.
And then spider in front of Geier comes up, and from underneath one of the rotten benches tries to bite your foot, but fails. The doctor.
Well, now that Crow left the building, I actually can try and blow them up. So I will target this intersection with my bomb to cause a splash damage to these two crab spiders. And my splash damage is, well, 5.
They do get reflex saves, right?
I think so. I can put...
And you still need to hit as well.
well, yeah. Well, armor class of intersection is what? I think 5.
Yeah, plus two people in front of it, so that's 13. Okay, you
Very
hit it, and the first one fails its reflex save. The second one fails it as well. So that is, what is your splash damage?
5.
5. Okay, so they both get 5 points of fire, is it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they get burned for 5 points of damage, and it smells like
It smells bad.
singed spider. The one up there is just licking his wounds. Geier?
I will repeat my flurry of blows. Oh, come on!
Oh, and another miss.
Yeah.
And a miss. You want to take a step inside, maybe?
Or outside. Let them come out.
Or outside?
Yeah,
Well, you can't really step outside right now, because
Can I not?
both
do
of
a
them would be
okay.
diagonal. Nope, that's
Okay.
the corner.
No, then I'll hold the door. Protect my friends.
Alright.
Emarél will again try to attack that same spider.
Mm-hmm. It has plenty of cover with the corner and Gaia. It's a very hard stab, and you miss.
Ooh. Do I?
Oh.
Is that a fumble?
Oh, right. That is a fumble. So, draw from the deck.
But, well,
Oh,
you
no.
need to confirm first.
Oh, right. First confirm. And the well, in this case, this is
Ouch.
clearly a fumble. But generally speaking, it goes against the unmodified if it's for the confirm. Or does it take cover and all that stuff into account? Doesn't matter right now. Just draw from the deck.
Did that work?
Yep. That's a melee weapon.
Yep.
Right, but if it's a reach weapon, I think you use the ranged stuff. And apparently
That's
you
up
nicked.
to you.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense because spinning swing with a spear is just weird. So probably by trying to find the right angle to maneuver through that narrow gap, you somehow nicked yourself, and you take 1 point of bleed damage. The spider over here jumps forward and tries to bite Gaia.
Emarél will also take a 5-foot step at the end of his
Okay.
turn.
All right, and the spider rolls a 12 against Gaia.
Nope.
Okay.
Yes. Damn it. Yeah,
What?
no. That doesn't get. No, my PDF character sheet froze for a second. No, it's fine.
Okay. Crow, you took hardly any damage. Bite, but you feel severely weakened. You take a point of strength damage, and I will need another fortitude save. And then it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm doing good today. Let's reload with I'm gonna take a full round action to reload with the pellets.
All right, those pellets feel heavier right now, but you fill them into your weapon. And the spider over here, once again, goes for Geier's ankles, missing with a 5. Then it's the doctor's turn.
Stepping away gingerly.
Well, we will try to be conserving of our bombs, so he will switch back to light crossbow and try to shoot the spider that is in front of Geier.
18. So you're trying to shoot this one? That's a miss. And we're still looking at wounds. Gaia.
I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound. Yes!
That
First
is a
flurry
hit.
hits.
That
Second, I doubt it.
Well, damage. You should roll damage first because you might want to switch targets between attack rolls, but
Oh, yeah, sorry about
that's
that.
alright.
So, flurry is 1d6 plus 3.
Alright, you smash the first one into a gooey pulp, but then you're too slow to get to the next one right after. Emaírel.
Wait, can I still take a 5-foot step inside?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
no, because that's now difficult terrain because there's a slimy spider body on the floor.
Alright, fair enough.
You can step outside and let them come out. It'll be easier for us to shoot them and stab them.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Alright, come at me.
Emaírel probably can't attack this way, right?
No.
And this one is too much.
You shouldn't even be able to see those.
Oh, actually, this one is in the threatened range, right?
Yeah, but you hardly even see it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Emaírel will just take a step here, and that'll be his turn.
Okay. That spider is gone. Crow. You take another point of strength damage. You're getting weaker by the second. And I will need another fortitude save. Alright. At least it's not gonna get worse. And it's your turn.
So I can't see where the spiders are at all, right?
Nope. You only see the one that Gaia squashed.
Big squash. Much mess.
Yeah, Crow's not feeling great, so he's just going to delay.
Alright. The spider comes scurrying into the doorway to get a good bite of Gaia, but fails the doctor.
That doesn't provoke, does it?
No.
Well, I mean, this one is definitely closer, so how can he miss? And he will try to shoot it again. Well, not again, I mean, it's...
And it's a miss once more.
It's all because of your head, Geier. I mean, seriously.
It's the hat. It gets in the way.
Yes.
But I'm not getting rid of it.
Alright, the one up there. Gonna stay where it is. Gaia.
Gaia will flurry the next one. First attack.
Oh,
Yes!
crap. Roll to confirm. Roll to confirm. Don't get too
Ah,
excited.
that's better.
Just a regular 1d20?
Yeah, it's the same roll. It's not. But you do add your bonuses, so a 16
Okay,
is
so 16.
confirmed.
Yes.
So you draw from the critical hit deck.
That's critical hit deck.
Play it.
Okay. I didn't see it down there. Skull crush. I know it.
You
Piercing. Yeah, it's gotta be bludgeoning because I'm
play
kind of
it.
hitting
You
them
need
with
to- You need to play it so we can see it.
I have
pull it on. Pull it onto the.
Sorry.
There we are.
I think you can actually just.
Now I can't see it.
I think you can.
Oh,
just,
there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can just pull the card directly on the table without taking it.
Okay.
So I'm
So-
guessing bludgeoning because I'm just slamming my.
Yeah, exactly. So you're crushing its skull for double damage
Like
and
that.
2d6 intelligence drain for 42.5. All right, so roll for damage first.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't forget double damage.
Do I roll double?
Yep.
Hang on. so
And
it's
you
eight.
squash this spider too.
And it's a lot stupider.
Yeah, because I crushed its head in.
It's as stupid as a dead spider gets.
I guess I am
Emarél.
good against bugs, though.
Mm-hmm.
Are there still any around?
Are you asking loud again? Your
I
allies?
saw
or-
3 in there. I shot one
There's
good.
one more. There's one more in there.
Okay, well in that case, Emarél will move. Would those be difficult terrain where the spiders are?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't see anything.
It's dark
Uh,
in there.
35.
It's very dark.
Yeah,
Doesn't
well,
he-
that's it. That's the move.
Well, you don't have
What was
dark
that?
vision?
Elves don't have dark vision.
What?
Low
Really?
light.
Yeah, low that vision.
Strange. I was absolutely convinced.
All right.
they had dark vision.
So that was just one action.
That was 2 moves actually.
Oh, that was 2 moves. Okay. Crow. Emarél bravely entered the room.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess. So I delayed. So does that put me at the bottom of the initiative order?
That puts you at whenever you want to move.
Okay. I mean, I never ended up taking my turn. So.
Yeah. That's basically then sitting out if you don't.
Okay. All right. There's still another one in there. The melee guys are kind of dealing with it.
It's probably not the best to waste ammo on bugs.
Yeah, I'm gonna ready an action in case somehow one of them comes into view. And
Okay.
I'll move 5 feet up.
Okay. All right. So light doesn't even reach into the chapel, so I don't think Emarél stands any chance. But it's still perception. You can still hear it.
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry, wrong spider. The doctor comes first.
Well, the doctor can't really see anything better than Emarél inside, so he will tries to change his position to take a better look, and he can't see anything. So at this point, he will skip his turn and allow Geier and Emarél to just take care of this.
Okay. Now Emarél, give me a perception check. Okay. You can hear it scurry in the dark. Over here. What? Over here somewhere at the end of the chapel. Gaia.
Geier will follow the sound.
Look. Moving. Okay. All right. Your light dances over the cobwebs and the silvery sheen of the gossamer threads. Give me a perception check. I would assume you're looking for the spider.
Yes, very much so.
That takes a move action. Because it hid among the various overthrown benches and stuff. That's
Where are
20.
you, crummy little bug?
That was not a perception check.
Yeah. Oh, that was supposed to be a 20.
It actually has to roll if you roll that high.
Oh!
And if you hadn't moved to the exact square you moved, you would not have noticed it because it would have gotten ranged bonuses. But you almost step on it. That's how close you are to it. You can see it move under a pile of moldy priest vestments.
There you are, you crummy little creature.
Emaírel, you see Geier already clench his spade, raising it up high above his head.
He will take a step
Mm-hmm.
and try and skewer the thing.
Well, first you need to see it. You need a perception check to actually spot it. You only know that
Oh,
Geier
right.
is targeting that square.
Nope.
And you wonder what he means. I mean, you could just, you know the square that he saw it in, so you could just blindly stab the pile of vestments.
Nah,
That's
either
what you
way.
want to do. Okay. Crow, your turn comes up again.
Crow's
Untriggered.
gonna step forward just to get back into the light.
Okay.
Come to the light, Crow.
The doctor. In the dark.
He will sigh very disapprovingly and move closer to the room, and like with disgusted he will try to not to step on the goo. And can he see the spider that Geier points out?
It's right in front of me, and I have my lamp in one hand. Kind of like, have you ever tried to catch crabs on the beach where you blind them with the light?
No.
Oh, it's a bit like that.
I see. So do I need to roll perception to shoot the spider?
Yes. You don't see it, but you could shoot blindly.
Oh well. Like, move your head, Geier, and let me try.
Oh, you better not hit my head.
Alright, you miss. Oh, and Carnes, don't forget that it's a move action to reload a crossbow.
Then I don't shoot.
What?
Then I probably don't shoot because I didn't reload it last time.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but I didn't keep track of when you used your move action for that or when not. Okay, so the spider in front of Geier mhm. Yeah, it's not enough. So you lose another hit point. What's your question?
My AC is 14, take into account my dodge bonus and dexterity bonus, right? But I'm supposedly get an AC bonus as being a monk, as
Yeah,
long as I'm unarmored and unencumbered.
It's +1 dex, +1 dodge, +2 wisdom.
Ah, cool, because that's not on my sheet.
Yeah, but that's in there.
Yeah.
That's the 14.
Yeah, no. So I would add +2 to my AC.
No. It is already 14. 10
Oh.
+1 for dex, +1 for dodge, +2 for wisdom. That's the 14.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Thought it would be 12, right.
Okay, so Emaírel inspects, the doctor inspects Emaírel's wounds, and as he says, well, I cut up my share of frogs, he kind of pokes his finger into the puncture wound. And it's quite hurtful, quite painful.
Well, in that case, Emaírel is going to dig into his backpack and fish out a couple of vials. He'll drink 1 potion of Cure Light Wounds, and he'll toss a
But it is only a minor chance, of course.
Yeah, check it out. Roll for perception. Okay. So you look around the room, and neither Emaírel nor the doctor seem very interested in this place. It's kind of gross with all the cobwebs everywhere, and it's just you just feel them on your face when you bend down to look under the benches. It's like a caress by an invisible hand. That's not very pleasant. But Crow stumbles over a cabinet covered with webs, of course, that's in the northwest wall, and it still contains a few religious supplies. Most of them speak to the fact that this must have been dedicated to Pharasma before, since there is a ceremonial little scale that's made from cheap material, however. And what's more interesting are the 5 vials of water with silvery sprinkles in them, so most likely holy water, a scroll, and a wand.
That's
Guys.
gonna come in handy.
That will
I think
come
I see
very
something
handy.
over here. Yes. Come, look at this stuff.
And Emaírel will take a look at that with some detect magic.
And the scroll, you don't have read magic?
Actually, I think I can. Well, I must say I will actually very rarely use such spellcasting implements direct.
I'm actually halfway decent at use magic device.
Well,
So I guess I should keep that.
Yeah, you can keep that.
Simon, what do I mark in my inventory on the scroll so that we can know what it is later on?
S8.
Well, and well, guys, I mean, you wanted to get your own holy water, so I guess here you go. There is like what five vials, right?
Jetzt bekommt den Zaubertrank.
Yeah.
Magic.
Was that? Ja. Sag mir, wie das funktioniert.
I guess should we each take one and then you take the
Probably.
2?
So, let's move out once you get your things sorted. There is much to explore here.
This time it pops open,
There we go.
and your lamp illuminates a chamber that is in shambles. Old wooden benches lie in ruins along, and rusty chains and bits of rotten rope lie scattered on the floor. You bravely move in immediately, so give me a perception check.
Perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one
All right. So Crow, as Geier wanders into the room, you hear some faint sobbing and clanking rattle of chains. And you're also at the same time feeling filled with a momentary sensation of hopelessness and the strange feeling of heavy manacles clamping over your wrists. Those sensations pass pretty quickly, but by that time, Geier has already moved further into the room. I would assume that you don't stand still in front of the door.
No.
And
Stumbled in once it broke open.
right, and once these sensations pass, and you have your wits about you again, you're too late to warn Geier that there is a set of manacled chains rising up, animated as it appears, and coming flying towards him. Initiative?
Can I get a roll a dodge or something?
No, it's initiative.
Oh boy.
move into the room, and that unfortunately would be it, because I can't throw the flask after taking it out and moving within range. Okay, that's
All right. Okay. So next up, Gaia.
So do I see the manacles coming towards me?
Yeah, when Crow
they're not-
storms into the room trying to warn you, you turn around and you see those manacles flying towards you.
So I swing my shovel, try to bat them away.
All right, swing.
Yeah, and that's a flurry. It's a full round. First one.
Miss.
And second.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
5-foot step, or is that it?
Yeah, I try to get some distance here.
Okay. Emaírel.
Emaírel will try to step into the room, see what's happening.
And you... even has a chance to overcome their hardness, so you can skip over his
Phrasing.
attack. And where's the...
I mean, he could score a crit.
That's true. So, where's your roll?
Mine?
Attack of opportunity. They moved into your
Oh, I
square.
thought that the attack of opportunity was only for
No.
Emaírel. Fuck yeah. That's a regular attack, no?
Yeah.
Nope.
That's a miss. And then they swing themselves towards you, slamming you with their metal chains for 1 point of damage, and then they're trying to wrap themselves around your arms, basically trying to shackle you. That's a 13 against your CMD.
My CMD. It's 18.
All right, so that does not work. You don't let them shackle you, but they're still in the same square. Crow.
Crow's gonna say, Geier, stand very still.
That is not the reaction I would have gone with. I'm about like ready to get it off.
I'm gonna shoot at the I'm gonna shoot the shackles, and I'm gonna spend a grit point to not hit Geier,
Okay.
and I'm gonna spend another grit point for my focused aim.
And it's a hit.
Wow. For only 5 points of damage.
And the bullet or the pellets just ploink off the hard metal. The
What
metal.
are you doing? Are you
Dodge it.
insane?
Carnes?
Yes, I'm here. Well, range is 10 feet, so I will have to, step a little bit
All right. You throw and you hit the manacles with the vial. It's a pretty well aimed throw, and it bursts open, smashes open. But all that happens is that the manacles are now wet and have a slightly silvery sheen in some spots. Gaia, your turn.
Okay, so the manacles are trying to attach to my wrists, right?
Yes.
And they're connected by a chain.
Yes.
So as they're trying to do that, I'm going to try to step on the chain and bring them down.
So you're trying to grapple them. All right.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
Yeah. All right. With the elephant in the room rules, you don't suffer an attack of opportunity, I believe. So just roll your CMB.
Can he do that against a creature that's in the same square?
Sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah, because they're like this, and I'm trying get down.
I mean,
Would that work with melee?
Tossing the holy water was my best idea, so I don't have anything. I can try to shoot them. Well, okay, let's try shooting them. But with since my crossbow damage is 1d8, it will not penetrate their hardness.
All right. Yep. And it just goes ploink far past the manacles and Gaia. Gaia, your turn. So first of all, you need to do a grapple check to maintain and see what your options are.
So what's that CMB again?
Yep. You get a bonus because you're already the. Yeah. Okay. So you continue to control the grapple, and now you actually have the option to bring your shovel down on it.
Because I want to bring it, but as piercing, not bludgeoning. Because it's a monk's spade. Yeah.
All right. So basically, you like use the
sharp edge, just like
the sharp edge,
like break the chains of the manacles as I bring it down.
Mm-hmm. And roll the damage.
I straight up roll the damage.
Yep. You don't the grapple check basically. So that is +2 -2. That's actually a hit. That's exactly a hit. So you bring your spear down hard, and against the defenseless manacles, you manage to smash them to bits.
Yay! Victory.
This place is frustrating.
It is. It doesn't follow its own rules. I mean, last
You're
time...
telling us this is the second inanimate object that attacks us.
Geier.
I'm just doing my job. Taking notes. From the shackles, what's left of them? It's just like
Emaírel did a pretty good job smashing them to bits.
so, not even like a functioning pair of half shackles or anything.
Oh no, definitely not. They were defending themselves as long as they were in one piece.
All right. Hold on, Crow. Hold on.
I just can't see, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, hold on, friend.
Geier brings his flickering lamp around the corner.
Yeah, my lamp is not even that effective. It's just like this old lamp. The like the glass panes are clearly stained from never having properly cleaned them from the oil residue, and the shadows it casts around. Yeah, kind of like that, but like black and grimy, and it just like as we're moving along and between the flame, it just casts all sorts of weird shadows. Which is just the way Geier likes it, but except in his old job it used to be funny, now it's just unpractical. So, another door, another corridor. Shall we? And without waiting for a response, Geier Can I see what the branding irons look like? What the symbol they're
Okay.
supposed to be branding?
Okay, so you move over to go and check them out. What are the others doing? Waiting outside. Doctor apparently
Yeah,
went into
I'm
the.
coming in.
Mhm.
Then give me perception checks, everyone. So you do smell the burning flesh, but you can't react fast enough. And as the Geier reaches down to pick up one of the branding irons, they instead rise up to meet him. And
Fucking knew it.
their tips start to glow red hot.
Oh, I'm gonna get branded.
Next, the 4 hovering irons lance through the air, one darting towards each of you. So let's see if they hit. It's a regular, well, I guess. Yeah, I guess you're all flat-footed against this.
Can I use dodging panache with this?
Can you use it when you're flat-footed? And
It
Yeah.
doesn't say anything about that. It just costs an immediate action to do when an opponent attempts to melee attack against you.
Okay, immediate action, just so we know, because it's possible that you can't take immediate action. But I'll figure that out quick. There it is. Actions. You cannot use an immediate action if you're flat. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so it doesn't matter in this case because they all fly past you and instead they just hit the wall, the floor, the ceiling, and they burn their mark into those places.
Can we see the mark? What's the mark?
Yeah, well, not done yet. As you look at what's happening, basically brand a code on someone.
Brand the code on someone.
Each inmate gets their own number.
Mhm.
That's not a very kind way to treat your patients.
Well, those were not very kind people.
But what code? What's...
Well, I imagine it's any designation you like. A1, B2,
Yeah, but
whatever.
we've not heard anyone of people being branded, and
Well, we haven't really heard anything much about the prisoners of this place.
prisoners being branded like cattle.
I guess it would make sense because then when someone escapes, you can you know where they came from.
And it makes sense as well that this place is haunted. If even by lunatic asylum standards, this seems unnecessarily cruel.
Crow, you're walking out onto thin air right now. Those are the.
Is
there are
that a
windows.
window?
Yeah, that's a window.
Okay.
And Emaírel, as you explore the room, explaining to Geier that it sort of makes sense to mark your prisoners like that, you find nothing else that appears to be of interest to you.
I don't like the way that things pop out of us every single room we go into.
I don't think this is a tendency that will stop soon. I think there'll be a series of more things before the day is through. Fire brings his shovel. And he's getting better at it. He's like finding the right little corner where he can wedge the doors open for a 17.
Indeed he does, and you wedge this one open, and once again you pop the door right out of its hinges, and your light begins to flood the apparently larger room beyond.
This time I'm still not in.
Oh,
This time I just
wait a second.
popped it open.
This is what happens when it gets late. Wait a second. In fact, nope. It's all right. It's all good. Just as before. It was completely unnecessary. All right. So your light reluctantly shines into the room.
Okay, before we go in, I think we might expect some things inside. We've seen shackles, we've seen brands, which we just left back there. Should we not have done something about them?
No, I think it would be safer not to touch them ever again. They didn't pursue us when we left, so let's leave them at peace.
Well, I'm just saying, once we step through the door, let's see what's in store for us. And Geier puts one foot in.
All right, you move in, and you spot tangled mounds of moth-eaten fabric sitting on several wooden tables, each surrounded by workbenches. There are various sewing tools, shears, needles, rolls of thread, boxes of chalk, and other objects that lie scattered over the floor, while the arm of what appears to be a skeleton protrudes from a stained heap of fabric to the west.
Mm-hmm. Should I?
And as you all move into the room, and the quality of the air changes. There's an otherworldly sigh that you hear, and you feel a cold breeze. And rising from the mound of moldering fabric, a beautiful young woman appears. She's dressed in a tattered but lovely blue dress. In fact, much about her is blue, including her hair, the tears that run from her pale blue eyes, and the clouds of smoke that drift from her lips when she speaks later. She materializes, rising up from that mound of cloth, and she looks something like this. And she turns her gaze on your group, and she says with a booming voice, "What is your intention here, intruders?" And that's what we're going to call it a night.
Oh, finally we're making progress!
Yay.
Although not quite yet, we're going to call it a night, because I have one more vignette for you.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have one last time. I do have one this
Yeah,
time.
well, we had quite a vignette in the last time by themselves with the children.
That's true. All right. So let me pull it up.
Is that actually the ghost of the prison warden's wife?
Could be.
Yeah.
So the place is Caliphas in the year is 4661. The door to the cramped office and the Quarterfoe archives, Caliphas' famous academy for young nobles and home to the royal collection of artifacts and documents, says Professor Ian Ferriman, head of anthroponomastics. Inside, only a narrow path from the door to the desk is not covered in books, scrolls, parchment, and various types of writing equipment. Motes of dust dance in the sallow light falling in through the shuttered window. It smells of strong tea, paper, ink, and iron? The professor, an elderly and polite gentleman, sits at his desk in a high-backed chair worn down by countless hours of study. Across from him, an elven man wearing a black deerstalker hat and a gray casual suit listens intently to the professor's elaborations, a very faint smile on his face. Forgive me, Professor Ferriman, if I have to interrupt you, the elf says politely. I know you are truly a luminary in the field of the origins and study of names, but why, in your expert opinion, would a serial killer go through the troubles of spelling their victims' names out in letters to them? Each letter written in blood or entrails, no less. He gets up from the visitor's chair and walks over to the bookshelf, bursting with tomes and scrolls. And all that work just to kill the victim afterwards, in a trap as gruesome as it is ingenious. He casually scans the books as the professor replies, Interesting question. There could be many reasons. Maybe the killer enjoys the victim's agony. Maybe he wants them to live in constant dread of finding a letter, ticking down the countdown to the inevitable, one letter at a time. Maybe the blood has some occult importance. One of my graduate students has posited a fascinating theory on a new type of magic powered by emotional components. I think I have his paper somewhere around here. Laurie Moore. He starts rifling through the myriad of papers on his desk. You have helped the Sleepless Agency a great deal in this investigation, Professor Ferriman, the detective says, gently tapping the backs of the books one by one. I wonder, was it all part of your game? He pulls on one of the books, and all of a sudden the entire bookshelf moves back and slides to the side, revealing a secret room filled with elaborate contraptions, traps, surgical tools, and a list of 27 bloody names hanging on the wall in the back. The professor starts to panic as the secret door opens. His face, just moments ago a friendly mask of academic professionalism, turns into the grimace of a madman. As he jumps up from his chair, suddenly holding a serrated knife he pulled out from under the papers, the door bursts open and a squad of guardsmen storms the office, overpowering the professor within moments. Take him away, boys, the detective states as he adjusts his hat. Looks like the Splatter Man just got tenure at Harrowstone.
Oh shit.
I'm waiting until we actually start
The
running
song
into some
cue.
of these guys.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't resist that one.
Perfect.
All right, so that is it for now today.